What's going on, YouTube? Welcome to the land of reckless logic. Please make sure you guys pop that like button, hit the subscribe button, and please smack the notification bell so do not miss any more posts from me. Let's get straight into this video because I got a lot to say. Now, y'all, I literally just did this video not too long ago. But however, I had like watched the video again, like, just to review it so I could probably listen to things that I didn't hear when I was actually doing the video live. And I had a whole bunch of static in my last video. I was so mad, but however, I know that sometimes when you have a good message and you really want to convey that good message, things will come up and distract you. But however, welcome to the land of a content creator, and welcome to the BS that we have to go through as content creators. But however, this was a good message that I did on my last live. But however, a lot of people probably couldn't hear it because of the simple fact of all that static that I was not aware that was going on. So with that being said, for all the people that's in this video right now, do you hear any static? And while that's going on, y'all let me know if y'all hear static or anything, because I'm gonna get this message out. I'm gonna get it out. But however, I'm gonna work through it. So do you guys hear any static before I even get started? Because dirt. All right, let me see. And that's a thing too. But anyway, let me get straight into it. I guess you just let me know if you hear any static and anything like that. So I'm aware because I can't hear it. All right, so with that being said, basically what this video is going to be about, even I just did this video, but however, this is the stuff that content creators go through. I'm gonna get this message out. So what this video was about is just that yesterday I ended up putting out a particular video, a commentary video about Tichina Arnold. Tichina, I always mess up her first name. I don't know why. When I hear it, it's good. But however, when it comes down to me actually saying her name, I butcher it. But however, with that being said, for those who do not know who she is, she's a 52, I believe she's 52-year-old actress. She's well known in the Black community for the character that she played in Martin. For those who don't know what Martin is a Black sitcom that was, I believe, in the 90s, where she played Pam. And she also played in Everybody Hates Chris, and she played the wife and the mother of Chris. Her name was Rochelle. Okay, so basically with Miss Arnold, she basically ended up going on Twitter. By any chance, if you guys hear any static, let me know. Now, she basically ended up going on Twitter and she asked the honest question. Now, here's the thing. When she asked the honest question, the question basically was, give me 1 second, I'm going to read it out loud. Honest question. What are we as Black women in America do to stop aiding in the emasculation of Black men in America? All right, so basically she ended up asking that question and she ended up getting some backlash. Now, I will say some people came to her and gave her backlash intellectually, and some people was cussing her the hell out. Just, long story short. All right, so first thing I do want to say this. Come on. Oh, there we go. I remember my banner. Yes, ma'am. All right, so the first thing I do want to say, I do believe that she was being genuine when she asked the question. I do not believe that she was trying to gaslight or even trying to create more of a controversy. I think that she was genuinely trying to have a genuine conversation about something that she wanted to, kind of have the answer to. Now, the reason why I think that it was genuine, to my knowledge, if you know anything else, let me know. But to my knowledge, she comes off like, I don't hear much about her in the news as in anything malicious. I don't hear anything about her doing people wrong. And now I may not know her personally, but however, I don't hear like any crazy stuff like that. So based off that alone, I don't think that she was trying to gaslight or be malicious when she asked the question. Now, I understand the question may be triggering, but however, I don't think she was trying to be malicious or gaslight. Another reason why I feel like it was a genuine, at least from her perspective, she was asking a genuine question. Hey, okay, by any chance, twin, do you hear any static in this video? Because I literally just did the last video and I listened to it again. It was static all over that bad boy. But however, welcome to the land of a content creator. This stuff happens. Yeah, so just let me know. So with that being said, I think it was a genuine question. only because simple fact of another thing as well is that when people ask questions or begin to talk, not only are people listening to what the people say, they're listening and also paying attention to what you say and you don't say. And from my perspective, I don't think that she was trying to do anything crazy. You get what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I also read the question multiple times, and I also read it. Each time I read the question, I understood. No static. Yes, ma'am. Okay. So with that being said, when I read the question this time, I ended up, each time I read it, I understood why people got different perspectives. And this is another reason why I say with tone, for me, in certain cases, are kind of important, because then it kind of lets you know the intention, the energy that someone's giving off when they ask the question. Alrighty, so I put that out there. Now, let's just actually describe and talk about the whole thing when it comes down to this whole emasculation thing. Now, if you don't know what emasculation is, emasculation in a nutshell basically means to weaken, to deprive of strength, to make weak. That's basically what it is. Now, let's get to some of these comments. Now, that last video was so good, but it's all right. Let's do these comments. All right, so people gave her backlash. So since they gave her backlash, and I read some of these crazy behind tweets, but I'm gonna try to get some new ones that just about I didn't read. Let's get it. Okay, someone had wrote, it says, okay, so after reading these comments, on God from now on, when I see Black women demanding help from all Black men, I'm gonna ask, why should we coddle why should we coddle y'all? Obviously, that shouldn't be our responsibility, since our struggles have nothing to do with y'all, despite contributing to them. Oh, okay, he's going for war. He's going for war. Come on, Erica. Now this is my favorite YouTuber. One of my favorite YouTubers, Erica. Miss Ma'am, you didn't get the memo. Black women are no longer out here worried about the fragile masculinity of men who hold the lowest position in the social totem pole. Nah, this is a patriarchy. If a man needs a woman to make him feel like a man, then you're the man. Oh Lord. Someone else wrote, says men are solely responsible for the emasculation, whatever that's supposed to mean. You didn't define it. Black women don't need to do anything but sit down and make sure their needs are being met for once. Okay, come on now. Let me see. I'm gonna read a couple. It says, okay, here we go. Respectfully, the idea of Black men are being emasculated in America is a talking point to normalize homophobia, transphobia, and misogyny. Well, misogyny. Why? I love your work and would happily send you some of the years of reading I've done to better understand these topics as a cishet man. Oh. Okay, it says, well, someone else wrote, it says, well, the real issue is Black women not creating a safe space for the full humanity of our Black men. And unfortunately, they have to turn to our communities for that safe space. But other than that, it's not their issue. Just don't add to the issues is my only deal here. Ooh, girl, they get into some things. I'm gonna read like one or two more. Let me see. I already read that one from the last one. I'm gonna try to get a juicy one. Let's see, can I get a juicy one? Or at least one I haven't done. Okay, he seems like he's like a real he's really for the Black man. So let's go. One half. It says, it starts with our boys. Mothers, guardians, or caretakers of male children can start by allowing them to fully express their emotions. Okay. That's laughter, anger, and crying, exhaustion, etc. Encourage them to feel through those emotions. This breeds a level of emotional intelligence. Come on, emotional intelligence. Now, I don't know. He did half and he did the second half. So the second half of what he said was that they will carry through life. Black women can start by appreciating Black men for who they are and not solely what they can do for them. Black women can start by tapping into their divine femininity, even in the absence of a Black man. Black women can start by admitting that Black men are needed in the house. Community. Oh, he was coming for blood. All right, so let me get to my things because, girl, that was a little bit juicy. All right, so I'm going to start off with the whole thing of I understand why people read her question and got different perspectives when it came down to whose fault is it? Well, whose fault is it, even though it's nobody's fault? Whose responsibility for this, that, and all these different types of things. Now, as I was reading, from my perspective, from what I read, I was basically getting the whole thing of some people was getting the interpretation or the perspective of that she was putting that responsibility solely on Black women. Now, let me do this. Hold up. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Let me do this. Now, I'm going to talk about the frustrations that I've heard from Black men and Black women. When it comes down to this whole conversation of when we start talking about cis-het Black men and cis-het Black women, cis heterosexual, I enter these spaces and I listen with my ears and not my mouth, and not vice versa. So I'm just gonna try to reiterate some of the things that some of the concerns, problems that I've heard them articulate. So with that being said, these views and these comments are not coming directly from me. These are coming from other people. I'm just amplifying them just so I can prove a point and have a conversation. Okay, please don't drag me. All right, so I'm gonna start with Black men. Black men's concern, from what I've heard, at least my interpretation of it, correct me if I'm wrong, is that they feel like they're being emasculated because they're not able or have the ability to be able to perform their divine masculine energy, responsibility, and exhibit yes ma'am, exhibit the character traits that come along with that particular energy. Yes ma'am, come on, character traits. Now that's what I've heard, as in being a protector, as in being the breadwinner, bring home the bread and cheese like it's an appetizer, being able to be the head of household, hold the position of leadership. All right, now let's go on the other hand. Now, from what I've heard from Black women, keep in mind I'm not a Black woman, but I'm just amplifying the things that I've heard. I got to go slow with this because people will just completely forget I said that and just think I'm just putting out BS. Now, from what I've heard from Black women is that they have always contributed and put their best foot forward when it comes to restoring the image of Black men, when it comes down to restoring the essence of a man, being able to support him, being able to encourage him, being able to be there for him. But the issue comes into effect when Black women say that same energy is not always, some, not all, it's not always given back to them. As in, Black women feel like they're the first ones to be disrespected compared to their other Hispanic white counterparts. Black women feel like they're always the one that always comes in last place compared to their Hispanic and white counterparts. Black women feel like that whenever we get into the conversation of they have to always be there for the Black man, but however, they always are the ones statistically not getting married compared to their white and Hispanic counterparts to Black men. Those frustrations. Now, I'm gonna say this. I believe the whole thing is that. Okay, let me read this. I believe Black men need to take responsibility of who that make families with. Therefore, they could be present in their children's lives and not live up, and leave if up to the Black woman to raise their son. Yes, I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. I 100% agree with that. But let me say this. I think conversations like this we shouldn't be having. Let's just call a spade a spade. But let's be very clear. The reason why we still have these conversations and the reason why these conversations are still a thing is because of the simple fact of, and by the way, y'all, I'm going to be trying to get this head together because, girl, Jesus. But the reason why this stuff is still a thing, y'all, is because of the simple fact of we are still holding on to ideas of gender roles and social or ideas how we should present and act socially is the reason why we still have these conversations. As in, since you are a man or male, you must perform and act and exhibit this. Since you are a woman or female, you must perform, act, and exhibit that. Now, that's toxic. Reason being is because we cannot sit up here and say and talk about how we are a community that encompasses, come on, encompasses, yes, ma'am. It encompasses variety, numerous personalities, numerous characteristics when it comes down to different types of people. And we always talk about how we're all different, we're all unique, we're all like a snowflake. But however, we want to put everybody in a box, or we want to make archetypes when it comes down to what is a black man and what is a black woman. The reason why that is very damaging is because we can't sit up here and say that we're all unique like a snowflake and be one of a kind, but yet we want to disregard men who may show up more feminine-like. Now, keep in mind, when I say feminine-like, I didn't even disclose or even discuss a sexual orientation, because there are straight men that show up more feminine-like, that are not, quote-unquote, this whole idea of an alpha male or anything like that. Same thing goes with women that show up more masculine-like. Now, another thing I do want to say. The reason why these older ideas of gender roles are damaging, because back then, yes, I do believe that back then, those gender roles worked well for back then. But however, now, they're not really 100% working well, only because back then there was a different time era. Back then there was a different culture. Now we have a different time era. Now we have a different culture, well, at least more of it evolving. Back then it was tradition. This now is more progressive. Reason being, back then, time capsule. Back then, I would say we were more into the masculine era. I'm gonna explain what I mean by that. Now I think we're starting to get more into the feminine era of things. When it comes down to something so simple, spirituality. When it comes down to the masculine era back then, when it comes down to religion, because with religion it's very strict, it's very black and white. You can't do this, you can't do that, and you must follow these rules. However, because if you want to be honest and compare religion to spirituality, this is actually a conversation I had with Conscious. When you actually compare religion to spirituality, religion is more so on, yes, they talk about the relationship with God or whoever the deity is, but however, it's more so of the text that they read. Compared to spirituality, it's more about the relationship that you have with that deity. Or whoever the person that's supposed to be associated with that spirituality or religion. Now, the reason why I brought that up, when it comes down to the masculine era, it's all about the text, it's all about the black and white, it's all about this, and you're supposed to say this, supposed to say that, da-da-da. Even back then, men, you're supposed to do this, women, you're supposed to do that. It was always black and white. Once again, we already said that we can't talk about us being a community, but yet we create archetypes of people and disregard the differences or the uniqueness that makes us snowflakes, makes us one of a kind, and then be confused when we have people being disregarded. Because guess what? They don't fit a quote unquote a standard. Back in the masculine era, it was the black or white. Now that we have shifted to a more spiritual or feminine era, when it comes to something so simple, and back then, something so simple as rap, it was mostly based on the bars this, bars that a battle rap, bars. But now that we have shifted, now we're more into the era of spirituality, which has something to do with having more empathy, which has something to do with more of showcasing humanity. have an understanding about things, researching the things that you have been taught, self-actualization. When it comes down to the, like I said, the more we're like more in the feminine era, now we're starting to see women hold a position of power, at least be the face. Because keep in mind too, women have always been the backbone when it comes down to holding power in the, but however, behind the scenes. Even though the man may have been the face, keep in mind there was always a wife. For heterosexual men, there was always a wife to keep him grounded. But however, it was also his mother that also came in as well. So women have always been there. That's the voice of reason for the most part, because not everybody's the same. But however, now we're starting to see women actually being in powers of position. Now we're actually starting to see women hold CEO position and be managers of corporations, being able to be successful. We're starting to see more queer people, more queer representation. Now, reason why that the reason why these things are toxic, as in back then, as when it comes to gender roles, is because, let's be very clear. Reason why back then it would make perfect and logical sense for women to stay home with the children and the man to go outside and, you know, actually take care and bring home the bread, the chicken, and the bacon, all the other stuff. Come on, lunch. Is because women weren't even allowed to have jobs. So it just made practical sense for you to be the only one to bring home the bread and cheese. So you take care of that and I'll take care of the other thing. And that's how they were able to work together. Now things are not the same. Women are able to have jobs. Women are able to be successful. And statistically, now keep in mind, I said statistically saying women, Black women in particular, specifically, are more educated than Black men. By the way, I'm not saying this as a dig. It's just the honest to God truth. Statistically, are more educated than Black men, as in book smart. Now, however, if you're street smart, that's something different. In common sense, that's something different, y'all. More educated than Black men and are statistically more successful financially than Black men. And the reason why these things, as in, especially when I start to ask, what really emasculates Black men? Oh, come on. It's coming to me. Come on, y'all. What emasculates Black men? And typically what I hear, I could be wrong, when they feel like they're not needed, when the woman, now keep in mind, some of these things they say indirectly, when a woman when their woman may make more money than them, when their woman doesn't feel like they need them, Black men sometimes, I'm gonna say typically, is what I heard, y'all, don't know where they stand. But here's the thing about it. Reason why these things are toxic is because all of these things exist with us all. All these things we all can embody and exhibit. Because keep in mind, yes, you may be a man, or a male, but however, you are also able to be a nurturing participant as well. And we see this all the time when men actually show these things, and keep in mind, show these things to other people's children that's not even theirs. I.e., when you're coaching a football team, i.e., when you're mentoring the younger generation, i.e., when you're a pastor. Same thing goes for women. When women are able to tap into the divine masculine, we see this whenever there are incidences where the man is not present or the other person that helped make the child is not present. Women understand that, yes, this is the circumstances. Yeah, it sucks, but however, life still goes on. And guess what? I still have a family to provide for. So they still provide their bread, their butter, and their cheese. Come on, lunch. Because they understand they have children to do it for. They also understand, and we also see women tap into the divine masculine when they have to make hard decisions and detach from their emotions. Now, I think another thing is that when we start to talk about these things, one of the things is that I think there seems to be a little of a mix up when we tell people to tap into each one of those energies. As in, I think a lot of times too is that when cis hetero Black men are told, I'm gonna say melanated men, yes, come on, melanated. when melanated men are told to tap into their divine feminine, I think the idea is from what they picture, could be wrong, is that they think heels, hair, nails, all these different things. But however, yes, I understand me being a Black queer person, and even then, I'm gonna get into a little bit of that right after I say this. I understand me as a Black queer person, me expressing my feminine energy may be a little bit or a lot more extreme compared to a heterosexual Black melanated man. Now, just because someone is queer does not mean they always want to express their femininity when it comes to physically. And that's the thing as well when it comes down to melanated Black men. You don't always have to express your feminine energy through the clothes that you wear, the hair that you have, the nails, anything that when it comes down to your exterior. It also comes to, one, the responsibilities. It also comes down to the traits. It comes down to the interior, as in being a nurturing spirit, as in being understanding, having empathy for other people. And that's the reason why that stuff is, oh, come on, it's rain light, get it together. Let me turn you down a little bit. But that's the reason why that stuff is toxic. And that's why it doesn't make sense anymore. Now, same thing goes for women as well. But let me say this. I'm just sweating on my nose, bitch. Ooh, Lord Jesus. But let me say this. I think another thing as well is that the reason why these conversations still happen is because we're all supposed to, what you talk about, Willis? All right, just so you know, I'm just going to address this. What I'm referring to is talking about how we're all supposed to be balanced and embody both energies. And I'm glad you said that, because the thing is, the reason why we're having this whole idea of emasculation, and let's actually define what actually emasculates Black men. Let's melanated men. It's not the women, it's not the queer people, it's not all of these other distractors that people always try to point to. What really emasculates, weaken, is the whole thing of Black men, melanated men, not being able to self-actualize the same way that their white counterparts do. Black men not being able to have the same resources to be able to be fully successful. And when I say resource, it doesn't always mean money. Sometimes it means mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, to be able to navigate through life and also alter their mindset. Because, be quite honest, a lot of things that we see now, like literally, all of this just about come from slavery. Let's just call a spade, racism and slavery as well. Let's just call a spade. Okay, but yeah, the reason why this is still a thing is because maybe because I'm a queer male as well. So if my partner makes more money than I do, it doesn't affect me, because guess what? I understand that we're both supposed to provide. We're both are bringing something to the table. We're both kind of having the same things or the same ideas when it comes down to being able to come together as a unit and being able to survive and move forward and create a family, if that's really our goal. Or hell, even just to find out where the hell this stuff goes. Now, here's the issue that we run into. And this is something that I also said. Since things are changing, like I said before, we're coming from more of a masculine era. Both, yes, here we go, right here. Both taking care of the children. And this, and here's the thing about this too. Just because, because I've actually heard this before. Just because a woman is a woman, she's supposed to take care of the kids. No, y'all both had them children. Y'all both need to take care of the children. Now, like I said before, it made practical sense for the woman to take care of the children back in the past, is because guess what? She didn't have no jobs. But however, y'all both are providers at this point, because women are allowed to have jobs they're allowed to vote, they're allowed to be in office, is both of responsibilities. And keep in mind too, these are not just things, these are not things that are just assigned to women. Now, women may have more of a capacity to be more empathetic only because of the social conditioning and because women align more with the feminine principle. But however, we all possess those things. Because keep in mind, these are survival skills. This is how you survive. This is how you navigate physically, emotionally, spiritually through life. You can't just only depend on your masculine, your divine masculine about every situation you go through in life. Because guess what? Your divine masculine also comes with aggression. Now, when I say aggression, it doesn't always mean something bad. Because sometimes you have to get aggressive or passionate. Let's use different words because I don't want to trigger up. Become passionate because sometimes you have to stand your ground against things. But at the same time, if you only depend on that divine masculine principle, sometimes you bring in passion or aggression to a situation that's not even needed. Sometimes it takes that divine feminine principle to come in and also get an understanding and being able to have empathy and also help being able to communicate and comprehend more easily. Same thing goes for women. Same thing goes for women. When you're able to not only depend on your divine feminine, you're going to need that divine masculine, as in sometimes being able to detach from your emotions, to be able to, because your heart is telling you one thing. Your heart is telling you, oh my God, I love him. I really don't want to do this to him. But your brain is analyzing everything that's going on, and your brain is telling you to put that nigga out on the street because he's not good for you. So every person is going to need both energies to be able to effectively navigate through this life. Let's just call a spade a spade. All right, hold on, y'all. My thing done went down. Now, like I said, we're going from an era of the masculine era. But now we're transitioning over to more of the feminine era. Now, in the words, okay, everybody see conscious down below, because actually, conscious, actually somebody, I actually referred someone to your channel. Yes, ma'am. Come on, I'm over here doing my thing. Now, if you don't know who conscious is, in the words of conscious, when that pendulum swings all the way to the right, it must swing all the way to the left to be able to balance out. To be able to balance out anything. This bitch. To be able to balance out anything. It's called polarity. It's a thing. So if we're already, now here's the thing. If we're already in the masculine era, well, we once was in the 100% masculine era, and now we kind of transition over to the feminine era. And keep in mind, there are side effects to both of those eras. The side effect of the masculine era when it comes out to religion, and some crazy like music. Masculine era, it was all about the bars when it came down to music. Nowadays, when you actually listen to music, a lot of times, at least with this particular generation, we don't really even care about the bars like that. Some, not all. It's all about a vibe. How does it make you feel? Now, the side effects of the masculine era is the disregarding of people, the lack of empathy, the lack of humanity. Because keep in mind, too, this is in the masculine era, and keep in mind, some of these things still exist, so don't conflate what I'm about to say. But in the masculine era, this is also the same era that believed that putting black people, melanated people up in shackles and chains was a very logical thing to do. This was the same society, same era that believed going inside a woman's head was a very good thing to do, despite what your gender or your sex is, especially for no reason. But now we'll transition over to the feminine era. We're more woke. We're more aware of things that we used to do. Because even myself, it was some things I would have said, like I just said in the past, and now I look back, I'm like, damn, that was fucked up. We're more aware of things. Now, the side effects of those things are we're more sensitive, and I hate using sensitive because I feel like that's a trigger word for a lot of people. I feel like people just say that just to get people riled up. We're more sensitive. We're more aware of things. But however, like In the words of conscience, that pendulum has to swing all the way to the right, it must swing all the way to the left just so it can slowly come to the middle. So I do believe, that's what I believe. I do believe we are going to get to a point to where both energies are right, can be able to mesh well, where we're able to have both the divine masculine and feminine when it comes to society. Now, it was something I was going to say. Let me see this. Because it's something that I noticed. Oh, I always forget this part. But however, I'm over knocking stuff over. But however, let me say this. Now, I do believe, I know a lot of times I'll be on black men's back and head, but also I'm about to tap on the shoulders of black women. Let me just tap on your shoulders real quick. Another thing as well, I understand that black men hold certain ideologies, ideas when it comes down to them being masculine, performing masculinity, and all the different types of things. But however, I understand and know that women, black women, because keep in mind, we're having a black conversation. So I'm not just targeting y'all, we're just having a black conversation. Black women, you also hold some of those ideas as well, which is the reason why there was a tweet that I read that said that weaponizing the things that like a woman making more money is very dangerous as well. Because my own friends have done it. They have done it with their boyfriends, their husbands, well, baby daddy's husbands and stuff like that. So just to be fair, I do have to address that. That's call that a spade a spade. But however, I think that I have noticed as well that I think it's very convenient because a lot of people say, a lot of times when I hear people say, heterosexual, black, melanated men, they say, I want a traditional woman. I want you, I want you to cook, clean, and do all these different things and yada, yada, yada. They go down a laundry list. But I think it's very convenient because a lot of times when people say that, they want to be traditional in one aspect, but yet they want to be progressive in another aspect. As in, you want the woman to cook, to clean, and do all these duties as if you can't do that yourself. But also, but also you want to be progressive, as in when the bills come, you want her to contribute and put some of that bread, that butter, and that bacon on the table as well. Another thing, same thing goes for women. You want to be traditional. I want this, I want that. I want a man to just treat me, do all of these things, yada, 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 and go ham. Now you go down your laundry list. But here's the issue with that. The issue is that when you enter that, I'm gonna call it a mindset, for lack of better words. It's probably the best word, but I'm gonna do lack of better words. When you enter that mindset of entertaining the idea of patriarchy, well, toxic patriarchy, you have to also understand and keep in mind too, even though I may be a black queer male man, I went under the same conditioning. So I'm well aware of everything that was said, all the conditioning and stuff, how to look at women, how to treat women, even though I'm not attracted to not a woman when it comes to sexually. But however, I'm very much aware. You have to understand there's an idea, attitude, energy that comes along with that, as in being the head of household, as in being the breadwinner, as in being the one who calls the shots. Because keep in mind, a lot of times too, when the man puts his foot down, which is something kind of saying or whatever, when they put their foot down, that's law. Reason being, when you actually start to actually have conversations with women in the past, grandmothers, great grandparents, even your own parents, when you start to have those deep conversations, you actually start to uncover and discover different traumas that happen. As in, you start to uncover and discover R-word, RAPE stories. You start to uncover and discover domestic violence. You start to uncover and discover cheating allegations and cheating instances that have occurred multiple times. Because keep in mind, let's also keep this stuff in context as well. When you already have somebody in you already have somebody that's the head of the house, so you already have somebody that brings home the bed, the bread, the butter, and you already have the woman not having the ability to be able to take care of themselves and their family. A lot of times too, women also dealt with and tolerated certain behavior because they understood that their livelihood was on the line, and also the livelihood of their children was on the line. As in, if he leaves me, I'm done for. And if he leaves me, my children are done for if he decides to leave the children as well. Because guess what? Women weren't even allowed to have jobs. So I believe that's the whole thing with it. Now, however, if that whole idea or was able to be disregarded, eliminated from the equation, then fine. Shit. Patriarchy, you better patriarchy it up. But however, we cannot condition men to think just because, and excuse me, y'all, I'm about to use strong language. Why does, maybe because I'm over here glistening, bitch. We can't, oh, that's a little bit too dark, girl. We cannot sit up here and condition men to be the head of household. We cannot condition men just because they have, excuse me, I'm about to use strong language. We can't condition men just because they have a dick in between their legs. They obviously rule a woman and think that a humbleness is going to be present. Because keep in mind too, another thing with this conditioning, and I'm just gonna call a spade, some but not all, let me put that in there as well, some but not all, this also comes with a looking at women or the feminine principle as just objects. Now the reason why that's dangerous is because when you look at something as just objects, and I'm about to end this soon, when you look at something as just objects, that's when the dehumanization of something comes into effect. Because keep in mind too, now the reason why Caucasian people were able to do some of the stuff that was so dehumanizing, disgusting to melanated people, because guess what? They didn't look at us as humans. They looked at us as property. Because keep in mind too, if I was to, let's take my phone for example. If I have my phone and it's my property, it's not a living being, which means I can disregard the feelings or anything like this, or even the value. Come on. That's a perfect example. The value of this particular phone right here. If I was to throw it on the floor and break it and break the screen and it doesn't come on anymore, everybody gonna look at me like, oh my God, why would you do that? But however, they're not gonna care because guess what? It's my property. And that's the psychological effects of thinking of a human, of a living thing as property or an object, because that's when dehumanization gets to enter the conversation. All righty. So I believe that yes, that she was just asking a genuine question, but however, I do believe that right now there's just a shift in the time eras. I do believe that we will get to a point of being able to mesh both of those energies together as a society, as in being able to accept people, even if you don't even respect people for who they are, being able to navigate through this world peacefully, being able to communicate and comprehend effectively. It also come with this, and also understand that just because something possesses the feminine principle, the divine feminine principle, I'm over here burping, y'all. It's not ladylike. But just because something possesses the feminine principle does not mean it's less than or weaker as well. So that's really all I have to say. Hopefully I didn't leave nothing out. But with that being said, let me say this. Girl, this is the reason why I can never just end, because I always remember at the end. Come to me. You'll see, y'all see the good Lord over here got me remembering stuff. Because I did this video like twice and I always forget this number one point. Even this socialization is even powerful or even crazy. Let me use better words. Even crazy that the presence and the objectification of a woman even exhibits, showcases the manhood of a man. I was literally, I'm gonna say this little story, and I'm gonna get up off here because I have to go to another live. But I was literally talking to a guy when I was young. I was like in middle school, and I had to go to McDonald's at the time and sit there and wait for my mom to get off work, pick me up. So I was sitting there, and normally I would come across people, and so I came across this man or whatever, and we started to have conversations. And we started to have a conversation. I forgot exactly how we led to the conversation, but he ended up telling me, talking about how an older woman basically sexually violated him. But however, keep in mind, I'm telling you guys from my perspective. Now, keep in mind, when he was telling me this story, he was happy. He was like, "Oh yeah, she gave me this, she gave me that," and I was sitting back looking at him like, "Sir, you were sexually assaulted, and you mean to tell me just because it was a woman that made it okay?" But I'm letting you know this is actually an experience. Now, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure I'm very firm on this. A lot of black men, this is the experience of a lot, some, not all, y'all. For me, I have to keep adding that in, some, but not all. This is the experience of a lot of melanated men. And this is a norm of a lot of melanated men. I want to be completely honest. So now, with the objectification, because keep in mind, in the masculine era, the objectification of women was such a big thing, which was exhibited through magazines, exhibited through porn, exhibited through prostitution, exhibited through music. But now we're in the feminine era, the tables have turned. It's exhibited through music is the main one, through media, aka Cardi B, Nicki Minaj, Lil Kim era, where now the objectification of a man is also present. Okay, but however, that is it for my video for today, guys. I'm over here glistening, man. I'm working hard. Oh, Lord. But that is it for my video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys pop that like button. And by the way, thank you guys for all who have supported me. Of course, through Cash App, but of course, as well, even watching this video. If you want to be able to help support me, my Cash App is down below. But however, thank you guys very much. That is it for my commentary video for today, guys. Please make sure you guys pop that like button. Hit the subscribe button, and please, please, please smack the notification bell so do not miss any more posts to me. Until next time, guys, I will see you guys later. Bye.